Okay, so we're going to talk about conversion factors. This was the end of the last slide, but we'll just review it a little bit. Conversion factor, that's just a ratio that's derived from the equality of two different units. It can be used to convert a unit to another. We have this example showing four different ways, four different fractions to represent quarters and dollars. And there's something called dimensional analysis. It's a mathematical technique. Dimensional analysis is used in all upper-level science classes, and it's a way to solve problems that involve measurements. So I want you to write this down. It is that the quantity we're looking for is always equal to a quantity we know times a conversion factor. For example, quarters in a dollar. If I know that I want $12 and I'm trying to find out the number of quarters, then the number of quarters is my unknown. $12 is the known quantity, and a conversion factor will help me change the known to the unknown. And here's how we would do it. X number of quarters is going to be equal to the given quantity, $12, times 4 quarters in every dollar, or 48 quarters. This is another method. I'll let you look at that on your own, walking you one step at a time through a conversion. So, how do we get a conversion factor? Well, we make it, we create it, we derive it. If you know the relationship between the unit you have and the unit that you want. So, for example, let's say we were trying to look at conversion factors between meters and decimeters. Deci means 1/10. So there's 1/10 of a meter is 1 decimeter, but also a meter is 10 decimeters. A meter is 10 decimeters. 3 different fractions, and in fact, if you flip this one over, you would get a 4th ratio. Conversion factors and the metric system use of prefixes is something that we do a lot of in chemistry. So we're going to have to memorize quite a number of these prefixes, but here's a few of them that you may or may not have heard of before. We just talked about the units of meters, seconds, and these other units, but meters and seconds, we can focus on those. And if I had a centime, that means I divided it by 100, so it's 1/100th of a meter. If I had a milliliter, as we spoke about, that means I've divided it by 1,000, so milli means 1,000th. If I am looking at larger units, we talked about that a kilogram was 1,000 grams and a kilometer was 1,000 meters. But we can also look at another prefix called mega, and a megaton means it's 1,000,000 tons. A gigabyte means that there's 1,000,000,000 bytes. Some of the other ones that are tiny that we've never heard of before maybe are called micro. So a microgram means 1,000,000th of a gram. There are several medicines or drugs that are prescribed in micrograms, 1,000,000th of a gram. One of the most dangerous ones that is a street drug today and is often laced in the drug heroin is called fentanyl. And fentanyl is dosed in millionths of a gram. So heroin users very often overdose because they can't know how many micrograms they're getting, and a small error is the difference between life and death. Nano means 1/100000th. Some of the coronavirus virons are measured in nanometers. They're 1/100000th of a meter, and that's why we try to wear masks, is to catch as many of the byrons as we can, because the ones that are as tiny as nanometers will go straight through the mask. So we try to catch all the bigger ones. Okay,